To block or not to block? That is the question. Let us understand that there is nothing wrong with blocking someone and there's nothing wrong with leaving someone unblocked. However, there are reasons and principles that we can adhere to and follow and think about when making our decisions. For example, why do people block in general? Well, there is something that I call the pain to pain ratio, very similar to the gain versus loss ratio. And the reason people will generally block someone is because there is an arising pain, and to subdue that arising pain, we might block someone. Now, the thing we have to understand with the law of cause and effect is that to bring about an effect, literally any cause can do this. For example, if you were blocked, it is very likely that the person blocking you is doing so from an emotional background. Keep this in mind. No building was ever first constructed without it first being thought of. Likewise, no decision was ever first proceeded without an emotion. This means, of course, that the analysis on making a decision as to block or not block stems primarily from an emotional background. The person may or may not have feelings for you. Likely they did if they blocked you at one point. And because they like you so much, there's a lot of pain that's mixed in with that emotion of love. Loving someone isn't like this straightforward arrow that just pierces someone's heart. It's this upside down, riggedy-raggedy mess. Or at least it can be, for some people. For some people, pain equals love and love equals pain. And chaos and loud noise and all these types of things create that high in a person that makes them think that they're in love. But to block someone who doesn't provide that response can stem from something deeper. It stems from really being in love with that person, even if they don't express it or show it in a typically obvious manner. Now, back to the pain to pain ratio, another reason someone might block you is because of the way they feel around you. And this feeling is a painful feeling. Again, going back to emotions. But not from a place of love. It can be from a place of fear. Fear of repercussions, fear of being seen, fear of an interruption of patterns. Yes, many people are unaware of their patterns, but sometimes if these patterns are threatened, then sometimes people take action to protect these patterns. These patterns suddenly come to light. For example, your workspace or your workplace, your work environment, your associations. If there's someone who you know who's bothering you and is posing a nuisance to you, of course you might attempt to block them. My dad did this to one of my old co-workers. Bit of a junky old bloke. Bit of a liability. He's like, oh, why, has no idea why he's really blocked, but it's because he was a pain in the ass. And sometimes you kind of reap what you sow. You harvest what you plant. Now, sometimes people can act a little bit more maliciously and block you or say nasty things. It doesn't really matter what. Usually this type of response, there is a pain, and someone's trying to resolve the pain by any means necessary. If it means blocking someone, if it means yelling at someone, if it means trying to control, then someone's going to do whatever they can to rectify that pain that they are sitting in. Now that we understand somewhat why some people might block us, especially our romantic interest, we can actually empathetically now see why another person might block us. And we can put ourselves in their shoes. And this is what it means to be empathetic. You can actually imagine being that person's shoes and you can relate. I struggled with empathy for a long time. I didn't know what putting yourself in another person's shoes meant. I didn't know what it meant to be in someone else's boat. But now I do. And if you think about what I just shared with you about why we block someone, because we're suffering some type of pain, we're trying to resolve that, you yourself typically are trying to do the same thing. But if it's us, how can we go about delivering this idea of blocking or not blocking in the most effective manner possible, where it brings about the best possible outcome? Whether it's bringing someone closer towards us or protecting our patterns, useful patterns hopefully. Remember, the Bible says, bad associates spoil useful habits. I was literally just drinking my coffee, having my brunch, and it came to me, blocking or unblocking, it's neither good or bad. It just kind of is. Just like how when you eat your food, there's nothing particularly wrong about what you eat. There are just some principles and some common sense aspects that we need to apply to the things that we're eating. Is your cutlery clean, for example? Is your food cooked properly? Are you tidy? And do you clean up after yourself after you eat? Some people might like oysters, and there's nothing wrong with oysters. And some people might like pig. Nothing particularly wrong with that. Some foods out there are definitely way out there. I'd be questioning myself about eating things like spiders and stuff. So obviously use discernment. And so when it comes to blocking or unblocking, a romantic interest or someone we know personally, first of all, if it happens to you, don't take it personally. And if it does happen to you, just obviously you're probably wondering what went wrong or what happened, but only reflect on this in a moderate manner. Don't overthink it. Don't dwell upon this in such a chaotic manner. Be constructive, humble, thoughtful, but not overkill. For us, if we were to block someone, it would be for the purpose, hopefully, of maintaining our emotional integrity. This is probably more of an emergency response. If you can maintain your emotional integrity without having to block someone, that's actually a very superior position to be in. If you can allow someone to watch you from afar on social media and even to develop a secret parasocial relationship with you, you're in a much higher position. And I think this is going to be the best approach moving forward. It depends on where the chess pieces are moved on the board. Is someone harassing you? Is someone causing harm? Obviously, if someone's causing harm, then refrain from interacting with that person, and who knows, maybe block them. What you do, like the food, is personal preference. It's up to you to decide. No one else can necessarily make that decision for you, and you probably might be seeking advice from your friends on figuring out what to do, how to move forward. So don't rush to take an action just so suddenly because we're compelled to do that by our feelings. And another thing about blocking is it usually comes from a place of trying to change the other person as well, actually. That there's another aspect to that. Me personally, if there's someone you know, like a romantic interest, and they've done you wrong and they've done a lot of big mistakes in the past, and somehow you're still in a circle with them, even in secret, like they still within your vicinity by their doing, then maybe there is an opportunity to practice forgiveness. Because with the power of God, you can make blood-stained sheets bleach white. That's it for this video. Hope you're having a fantastic day. If you want to reach out to me one-on-one, things like this, then yeah, feel free to do that.